I just want to ask you, how are you feeling on your journey so far?
Hi, for this journey, I think that its turnout is really over with what I expected. At the beginning, I expected to be just some people along the road, but I have never expected this turnout. And the turnout is keep growing every day. And let's say tonight, I thought it's like weekday, so I thought it's not many people. But obviously, like thousands people, the turnout is really great, and that I can see that everybody is seeking for peace, and they really need it.
So many times, especially in the news, we see when there's big crowds of people that there's fighting or there's upset or there's violence. But I think tonight was a beautiful demonstration that we had thousands of people here that were excited to listen to you, to hear your words, and your words were beautiful. You reminded us to call our parents, to call our caregivers, to forgive people, and also you did that with grace and with humor. But you made it very easy to connect with you. So, how do you combine that powerful messaging that you want to share with people with also humor and reality?
Well, I didn't know that I have that that thing that the way of talking to make people laugh. But back then, I didn't have that. It was really how you say it, serious. I was really serious back then, and I changed myself every day. And then when we walk on this, I wasn't prepared anything. I have never prepared myself for this walk. I just asked for all Venerable monks to join the walk, and then take on and carry on everything, and put on everything and walk. So everywhere when we go and I see the crowd, and automatically I just feel like what I need to say.
I know that there's so much going on. I mean, everything behind us, all of the logistics. So, how does that become part of your journey? Do you know what's going to happen, that next step, that next city, or does it just come?
Actually, after the accident in Houston, and then there was some connections, and then all the officers, all the law enforcement, they just come into support. And for now, we really don't need to do a lot of calling for each county anymore, because like sheriff, he called the next sheriff to be prepared, and they escorted us to the next to the borderline. They handed over to another department, another county, and volunteers, people just certainly they just wanted to do something to support us on this mission. So I think this is the time that we actually brought everybody together, from law enforcement, government officials, and all charities, all group, and all people together. I think this is great. It's a great turnout, and it tells me that peace is something that people really need it.
Peace is something that we can all use and that we can all benefit from. And I think that we're really all seeking. You mentioned that tonight is just we all want to feel that. And when you led us through that meditation, my photographer and I, we were both standing there, but I just felt a peace wash over us. And I'm looking at my neighbors and our viewers, and we all got to experience that. So thank you for bringing that to our community. But also, I'm telling you, I need a bigger camera. I know a bigger camera next time. But when you're traveling and you're talking, you're communicating with everybody. How do you want us to view other people who are seeking peace? Like, you guys have become a viral sensation, but we should really be treating each other with this respect, with this community, with this welcome at all times, right?
Yeah. I like I say that if every one of us just keep on practicing and share among with our friends, our family, and our coworkers, if everybody keep doing that, I think the turnout will be quick, faster, and it will be much broader.
Yeah. I think so too. I also have to ask you, when Pastor Ron stood up and he welcomed you to the church, like this is a place. Fun fact about me: I played basketball in this very church when I was younger, and grew up here. And this to be a Southern Baptist church, and for Buddhist monks to be here, and you feel safe and welcome here. What does that say about just how open we should be with each other?
I would say this is how the world should be. Every time when we go now, it's all kind of people and churches the day before we went to the capital, we had a chance to meet with other faith leaders, Muslim, Catholic, Christianity, and a lot at the church. So this tell me that everybody just be nice to each other, and then it doesn't matter really which religion we practice. It's all about peace that people that is need. This is a time that all people should stand together to support each other to bring peace and kindness and compassion to this world. So I think that back then, before when in Texas, when for us to come to the church to stay or have lunch is very difficult. But somehow now that everybody just opened up, and even pastor call and email us ahead to, you know, offer us the place. Like here tonight, we are very honored, and I feel that this helped us a lot. And pastor and reverend venerable monks, we should join together for this mission.
Can I ask you why it was hard to go places and eat and things like that when you were in Texas or anywhere before?
Probably they didn't know us, what we are doing, and we ask, and there are places, but of course, always like that. We are not. We still happy because we didn't have a place. We go elsewhere where it's just difficult for us to find the right place at the beginning. For me, there will be no peace without tears and blood. So I have dropped a lot of tears too. Earlier today, people that make me cry because they touch we touch their heart, and then they cries. And there's a couple that they are deaf, they cannot hear anything, and they write on the board, and they just want to tell me that they really need it, and they very excited to see us, but they cannot hear us talking, and that just make me cry. And I think that people should treat each other like this. Just be nice. It doesn't matter what certificate or what level we are. It's the way how we treat each other. Right?
Well, thank you so much for sharing your grace, for sharing your blessings with so many people. You have been incredible. I wanted to make sure that I was here tonight because when I first started following you, I'll be honest, I saw Aloka first, who is the dog that's traveling with them. But I saw this post about Aloka and found out about what you were doing when you first started. And someone commented that they said, I'd love to see positive things like this on the news. So I just wanted to make sure that you were on the news here in my hometown, in our state. Know that you can eat in any restaurant here, and you can always come back. And if there's any Southern hospitality you need, it's always right here waiting for you.
It means a lot to us. We're very honored and very grateful that everywhere we go now, that all communities coming out for us, even though it's a very tough journey. But we're willing to do this as long as we can share something to our people.
On my right, on your left, that's a path. Go on that side, there's we call monks' residence. In all that area for monks to live. And then on the other side of the road is nunneries and all females living on the other side of the road called Windermere. Right behind us, behind this building, this shrine hall is the Dhammacharya land, 14 acres that we built the 840 stupa in stone. That is the model right behind you, right at that table. That is the model that will be built back there. And there's a stupa in stone right at that corner, is still not finished yet. That is the sample. The first stupa, that is the smallest size of the project. That is from India. 6 gear from India, 2 containers for 1 stupa. And so you take your time to look at the model. I learned how to print it in 3D by myself. And I printed 3 models like that already. And then our team put it together. Just small by myself. And I asked at the beginning, I asked how many they trust me, 75,000. And after that, I went on Google and asked, how can I do this myself? And then Google taught me. And then I bought a lot of machines. And then I printed myself. After a while, we got 3 models complete. 5 by 8. It's 5 feet by 8 feet tall. And one of the models go with us everywhere around the world to this place. One stay in Vietnam and one right here. So that we got the Dhammacharia projects that people will be talking about to try all the teachings on stone and grave. 10 different languages. English, Thai Roman, Burmese, Laos, Thai, Cambodia, Sri Lankan, Sinhalese, Bangladesh, Devanagari, and Vietnamese. 10 different languages. And many more places asked to add more languages to it. But unfortunately, the Tipitaka, which is the 3 canons that the Buddha taught, is about 45 books total that is not translated in different language. And so we only have those countries who preserve the original scriptures, and we are using those. And that is the project where I made about silently for 7 years, nobody knows about it. And after 7 years, I expressed my vow to my teacher and he said yes. And then 3 years, spoken out, announced it publicly. Last year was the 10 years total. And we expect to have the foundation of the main stupa, which is 175 feet tall, to be in place by the beginning of next year. That is the project that people been asking how much, and I say 200 million, and I don't have any. And that is when people laugh at me, and that is when people say I cannot do it. And a lot of negativities about it, but I say people have the right to say anything. I have the right to do the things that I wanted to do. And even though I don't have anything, but this is not the project for me. This is the project for all human beings, and this is the project for everybody. So it doesn't matter how long it takes. That is why I made a vow too. If within this lifetime I'm lack of merit and I cannot get it done, I wish that I will be reborn until I get it completed. In front of everybody and 180 months over there, I made that vow. So you probably see me more.
Because I saw you getting many years to the 2.5 months psychology. That's the first thing. The second one, I know that you said that you didn't realize all the love you can feel along the way. That you also showed about mindfulness and breathing. How much the burden is that on you as far as in the streets and you were walking, cooking, talking?
Well, for the museum that people been requesting for a museum to put all those gifts from people everywhere that offer even a speaker that from a kid drawing something on it. We kept all those a lot. Unless it's mismatched somewhere, but everything that offered to us, we kept them all, and some we get it out, share with the others when we walk. And so for the museum, that is something that we are thinking after people brought that up. But that is something in the future. For right now, we'll make a room, arrange a room to keep all those for now. And for the walking, definitely mindfulness is the key that I already shared many times. Even in harsh conditions, weather, and many things happening when we walk. But we always pay attention to our breathing by my nostril right here, so it won't bother me. And you have seen and you have saw a lot of video online that protest our walk and things like that. A lot. Not just that group only, but many. It's more than a sign on the road and yelling from apart, yelling at us, but I say those will not bother us because people have the right to say anything they want to say, and because of defilement, because of suffering, that's why they say what they say to the things they do, right? They are suffering, so we don't need to add more suffering to them. We should give them loving kindness instead. And unfortunately, on my way home here on the bus, someone sent me a video of the guy who protests us everywhere. I believe it's from Georgia all the way to Washington, D.C. He made up a statement directly to my face that I will follow you everywhere, every town to Washington, D.C. I say, that's your choice. I walk my way. And I saw the video that he got arrested on our last day in D.C. And which I don't want that. We don't want that to happen. But I think when we do something that is unwholesome, with all kind of things like that, the karma will turn around. If we commit it into a very heavy one, very strong karma, then it will come back with us very quickly. And he has said a lot of things very not friendly at all. Like telling all the people that, Buddha will lead you to hell, and following me, everybody's gonna go to hell and things like that. All those, when I heard him saying that, it made me sad. I feel bad for him. Because I know that he will have to pay for it. Unfortunately, he did. He paid on our last day at the Lincoln Memorial. And I saw that video on the bus when we going back here. I'll pray for him and I will find out. We don't want anybody to get hurt. Big lesson that we learn on this journey. Well, a lot. I've learned a lot. But what shook me the most is that people come to me and say that you have saved my life. Not just one, but many. That moved me a lot. So, seeing so much people coming out to join this mission together, that also tells me a lot. The life of human being suffer so much. That's why within just this movement, everybody coming out.
As we all know, that Bhikkhu Buddha is the most well-known Western monk. I saw the video that he met you and even the English speech. What was the first word that you said when he met you? What was the word that you said to him when things the time you met?
Bhikkhu Bodhi is not the only one, but many of the venerable monks who came and met us in Washington, D.C. That is our last leg. They always said, we found you. And we pray for you every single day. You have done a great job. You have brought all the people together. This is something that is unusual. This is something that is very difficult journey, but you and along with all the monks have done it. In this journey, I know that it's a very tough journey that you all have completed. We're proud of you. That is what all the people monks say.
We are grateful beyond words today, and so meritorious to the world.
This question has been asked many times, and I have talked on the way back here in one of our talks in the morning. One of the audience asked me the same question. Is there anything that I can do to have everyone join together to practice together every day? And I said, my schedule is very tight now. This is Lunar New Year, and you know that May 2nd to May 10th We have a huge event, international event, where the government of Sri Lanka will come. And I am the one who hosts all this, right? And so we have a lot of things to do. And therefore, I also have online meditation teaching every day, twice a day. Right before we take on that walk, I teach every day. And now, after when I walk, my teacher replaced me. And then when I come back and all the people already asked me to come back to continue the teaching. And of course, after this walk, so many people already practice mindfulness practicing. And I know that practicing on our own is very difficult. Right? For beginners, it's very difficult. We have no motivations. Less motivation to do it on our own. So therefore, I will try my best. I will try my best to be online, Zoom or something, so that everybody can join together to practice every day, and then I can share, when we practice, I can share more about that mindfulness practicing, because mindfulness practice that I share along the way, that is just the beginning. That's not it. That is just the beginning for us to train ourselves to come back to this present moment. But that's not it. Still a lot more to go. So I will try my best. But give me until after New Year. I need to celebrate New Year.
Where do you find, where do you manage to find your walk? Where do you manage to find your
Where did you manage to find your dog on a walk?
The boy is asking.
Look, we found from India, Kolkata airport, during the walk in India, 112 days in 2022. That is when I found Aloha. And after the journey, 112 days, I brought Aloha here, April of 2023. Yes. In India, we walk. It's also very cold too. Very cold in India as well, so it's not snows and ice. And these days, especially Virginia, is when snowstorm. And those days very tough for us. We are, and our monks, you see that we don't wear inside and walk. And it's our feet and hands and everything is just numb, and we feel very pain. Especially when we caught a cold, we cough a lot. And we have to cover our nose and our mouth when in the cold. So when we cover it, we cannot breathe while we walk. So we have to take it off and expose it. The more we expose it, the more it gets worse. So those are the tough days for us. After the snow is like very super strong, wind is almost lotus on the ground. With all that snow splash all over our face and body, things like that. Those are tough days. But we get through it, we got through it, and we finally got it done.
Thank you for the guidance. The group that got together, there is power in having several.
Well, last night, which is at the GW University, right, as a global loving kindness meditation. That is my first meditation that lead globally like that. I do feel that energy together just thousands and thousands of people in that stadium alone already. And many other countries also doing that the same thing at the same time with us. And so with that power, I truly believe it will move a lot of people, it will move a lot. So as long as we continue doing that, our world will become better, will turn into a better place.
And we go and writing on the rock, making love straight and
Loving kindness meditation together is for all beings. Loving kindness has no boundaries. And so by doing that, it spread all over this universe, so all beings will receive. Right? And so I think Aloka will be become a peace ambassador to spread love and kindness to all other beings. Earlier, I don't know if she's still here. She offered me some hints that she said that she hosts a place with 400 rescues, animal and things like that. And she said that Aloka give her a lot of hope and many more places too. And I have this thought that I will make a foundation called Aloka's Foundation to support all. That thought, and Aloka to support all animals around the world.
Yes, thank you. So I was one of those volunteers in Virginia. My fingertips are still frozen and numb. I can only imagine what you're all feeling. So my question is, do you accept students who are not dedicated to becoming a monk?
Student is not about becoming a monk or a nun to become a student. Lay people also a student. Each monk, each teacher, each guru have a lot of disciples, have a lot of students based on their teachings, of course. So they will become the guide to many lay people. And when the lay people respect them and ask them to become their teachers, their masters, then that's how it works. And so, of course, it's not that you have to become a monk or a nun to become a student of any monk. But for me alone, I feel like I don't have that much of wisdom and knowledge to receive students. There's a lot of things that I wanted to do, but I couldn't. And so I will try my best just to share with what I have and what I practice to many people as possible. And I will continue. Last question.
If you are able to continue, you said online, how would we find that? Would it be the website for here or Facebook, or how would we find you?
Definitely our team will have it online on our website, dhammajeevaya.com, and one for his pages like Facebook and Instagram. We have those people who control those pages here. We have a lot of people managing all those. So I will make sure they will make that announcement when I'm ready. But you have been following the Wako Peace pages, so you should receive information every day when we update anything. And during this time, I will try my best to be present with some small podcast or something like that, or just to say hi to everybody. I will try.
In a world that often feels fractured by noise and division, where the morning news cycle can leave us feeling heavy before we've even finished our first cup of coffee, there is a profound hunger for something different. We starve for quiet. We starve for a connection that goes deeper than a digital like. We look at the scrolling headlines and wonder if the fabric of our humanity is tearing apart. But then, every so often, something happens that stops us in our tracks. A moment, a movement, or a person that reminds us that the world is not as broken as we fear, and that peace is not a distant utopia, but a living, breathing possibility right here on the pavement beneath our feet. Consider the image of a solitary figure walking across the vast, sprawling landscape of America. When Venerable Bhikkhu Panikkara began his walk for peace, he started with a humble, almost solitary expectation. In his own mind, he anticipated a quiet journey, perhaps meeting some people along the road, a few curious souls who might stop to ask where he was going. It was a modest vision for a modest monk. But the universe had a different script written for him. Instead of solitude, he found a tidal wave of humanity. As he walked, the turnout didn't just meet his expectations, it shattered them. Every day, the crowds grew. On nights when logic dictated the streets should be empty, weeknights, work nights, thousands appeared. Why? What compels a busy parent, a tired student, or a skeptical onlooker to stand in the street and wait for a walking monk? It is because, as the Venerable observed with such touching clarity, everybody is seeking for peace. We really need it. We are desperate for it. When we see a crowd on the news, we are conditioned to expect a riot, a protest, a clash of anger. But here, thousands gathered not to fight, but to feel. They gathered to listen to a message of forgiveness, to be reminded to call their parents, to forgive their caregivers, and to simply breathe. This creates a beautiful paradox. The very thing we think is scarce, peace, is actually the one thing we all possess the capacity to generate, the moment we decide to come together. This journey reveals that the walls we build between us, the labels of religion, politics, and geography, are paper thin. There is a moment in this pilgrimage that captures the quintessential American spirit of unexpected grace, a Buddhist monk standing in the sanctuary of a Southern Baptist church. For many of us, raised in a culture that likes to categorize faith into neat, separate boxes, this image is startling. Yet, it felt entirely natural. The pastor didn't just open the doors, he welcomed the monks with the warmth of a long-lost brother. The Venerable noted that in the past, perhaps in Texas or during earlier walks, finding a place to rest or eat was a struggle. They were strangers, unknown and perhaps misunderstood. But as the energy of peace rippled outward, the hearts of the communities opened. Sheriffs called ahead to the next county, not to warn them of trouble, but to prepare an escort for a precious cargo. Volunteers appeared out of the ether. It culminates in a scene where a monk stands in a church where a local woman remembers playing basketball as a child, and the boundaries dissolve. The Venerable's reflection on this is a masterclass in mindfulness. This is how the world should be. It doesn't matter what certificate we hold, what level of society we occupy, or what name we give to the divine. When we strip away the dogma, we are left with the raw, shared need for kindness. The walk became a moving testament that when you carry peace in your own heart, you become a mirror, and the world reflects that peace back to you. The Baptist church becomes a temple, the road becomes a sanctuary. However, we must be careful not to romanticize peace as a passive, fluffy state where everything is easy. True mindfulness is not about bypassing the difficult parts of life, it is about walking directly through them. As the Venerable said with piercing honesty, there will be no peace without tears and blood. This is a startling admission. We often want the peace that looks like a spa day, quiet, comfortable, and pain-free. But the peace of a pilgrim is forged in the fire of reality. He spoke of the tears dropped not out of sadness, but out of the sheer overwhelming power of connection. He recounted meeting a deaf couple who could not hear his words, yet they communicated through written notes and the sheer intensity of their presence. They couldn't hear the sermons, but they could feel the vibration of love. Witnessing their excitement, their desperate need to connect despite their limitations, moved the monk to tears. This is the alchemy of suffering. When we allow ourselves to be touched by the struggles of others, when we stop trying to protect our hearts and instead let them break open, we find a deeper peace. It is the peace of knowing we are not alone in our pain. The tears are not a sign of weakness, they are the holy water that washes away the dust of our indifference. Of course, not everyone we meet on the road of life greets us with open arms. If we decide to walk a path of kindness, we will inevitably encounter those who are committed to a path of anger. The Venerable's journey included a shadow companion, a protester who followed the group from Georgia all the way to Washington, D.C., screaming insults, holding signs, and telling the monks they were going to hell. This is the ultimate test of mindfulness. How do you react when someone is screaming in your face? Do you scream back? Do you run? The Venerable offers us a tool that is as practical as it is profound, the nostril. He explained that even in harsh conditions, even with people yelling, he keeps his mind, technically upgrading by my nostril right here. He anchors his attention on the sensation of the breath at the tip of the nose. By narrowing his focus to this tiny, neutral physical sensation, the insults lose their target. They float by like clouds. But his wisdom goes deeper than just a concentration technique. He reframed the protester's aggression not as an attack, but as a symptom of suffering. Because of suffering, he said, that's why they say what they say. A happy person does not scream at a monk. A person at peace does not travel hundreds of miles to harass strangers. Realizing this, the Venerable didn't feel anger, he felt pity. He realized that reacting with anger would only add more suffering to them. Instead, he chose loving kindness. Even when the protester was eventually arrested, the monk's reaction was to pray for him, to wish him well, understanding that the man was creating his own heavy karma. This is a radical lesson for us in our polarized society. When we encounter toxicity, on social media, in traffic, at the holiday dinner table, we have a choice. We can engage in the battle, or we can focus on our nostril, breathe, and realize that the person attacking us is likely fighting a war inside themselves that we know nothing about. This resilience of spirit is mirrored by the resilience of the body. We cannot speak of this walk without acknowledging the physical reality of the road. It wasn't all sunshine and waving crowds. There were days in Virginia where the snowstorms turned the world white and hostile. The Venerable described the sensation of frozen fingertips, of bodies numb from the cold, of coughing and struggling to breathe while wrapped in layers. It is easy to be peaceful when the sun is shining and the temperature is 70 degrees. It is a different practice entirely to maintain your composure when your hands are freezing and the wind is whipping snow into your face. The Venerable described moments where they felt the lowest on the ground, splashed by slush, physically depleted. Yet, they found a way out. They kept walking. This is the grit of mindfulness. It teaches us that discomfort is temporary. The storm will pass, but only if we keep moving. For those of us watching from the comfort of our heated living rooms, this is a call to examine our own relationship with discomfort. Do we give up on our goals, our own walks, the moment the weather turns bad? Do we abandon our commitment to patience the moment we get a headache? The walk reminds us that the physical challenges are just another landscape to traverse, no more permanent than the hills or the valleys. So, what drives a person to endure the freezing snow, the screaming protesters, and the miles of concrete? It is a vision that extends far beyond the self. The Venerable spoke with great passion about the project that anchors his mission, the Great Stupa. This isn't just a building, it is a vow carved in stone. He described the meticulous process of 3D printing models himself, learning from Google, persisting when people laughed at him and said he had no money. But the most moving aspect of this project is his relationship to time. In a culture obsessed with instant gratification, where we want our Amazon packages in 2 hours and our enlightenment in a weekend workshop, the Venerable operates on a timeline of lifetimes. He spoke of a vow he made: if he cannot complete this project in this lifetime due to a lack of merit, he wishes to be reborn and reborn and reborn, until it is finished. He is willing to come back, again and again, to serve humanity. This perspective shifts everything. When we stop viewing our lives as a desperate dash to the finish line and start viewing our actions as seeds for a future we might not even see, our anxiety drops away. We realize that we are building our own stupas of love and kindness, stone by stone. It doesn't matter if we finish today. It matters that we lay the brick. It matters that we commit to a project, whether it's raising a child, building a community, or healing a trauma, that is for all human beings, not just for our own ego. As the essay draws to a close, we must bring this journey back to where it started, with us. The Venerable's walk may have physical coordinates, starting in one state and ending in another, but the true destination is the heart of the witness. He reminded the crowd, and he reminds us, that we don't need to be monks to be students of peace. We don't need to shave our heads or wear robes to walk this path. The global loving kindness meditation he led, connecting thousands of people in a stadium and online, proved that energy has no boundaries. We are all connected in a vast, invisible web of intention. When we sit in our homes and breathe peace, we are walking with him. When we forgive a family member, we are taking a step. When we choose to listen to a stranger rather than judge them, we are building a stupa. The Venerable's final interactions with the crowd, joking with people from California, Texas, and Arizona, telling them to get the flight back now, with a laugh, remind us that enlightenment is not humorless. It is joyous. It is light. He leaves us with a simple, powerful charge, to be kind. To treat each other with the same reverence we would show a holy person. To recognize that every person we meet is fighting a hard battle, and that our smile might be the miracle they have been waiting for. So, as you put down these words and step back into the rushing river of your life, take a moment. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Notice the breath at your nostril. Remember the snow, the tears, the church, and the open road. The walk for peace is not over just because the monks have stopped walking. The walk continues in your kitchen, in your office, and in your heart. It continues every time you choose love over fear. The road is open. The invitation is yours. Will you walk?